Welcome, everybody, to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast in the history of podcasts. My name is Bryan Neal.
My name is Bill Caskey.
We're here every week for your listening enjoyment. Glad that you're here. If you're new, welcome. One of your New Year's resolutions is still alive, and one of them was to listen to more sales podcasts, and you found us that way. We're glad you're here. Don't go away. We've got 20 years of episodes back, deep library.
Got some work to do, buddy.
If you haven't joined the Insider program, go to advancedsellingpodcast.com, look up Insider, join that live coaching with Bill once a month, not once a week. Fantastic program, biggest bang for your buck, I always say, going. So check
the February 6th, we do it once a month, usually the first Friday. February 6th, we're going to be talking about the proper mindsets, the 5 proper mindsets, which kind of goes to what we're talking about today and have been over these last 3 episodes, which has to do with mental health and sales. And we think it's important. And Bryan and I kind of came out of nowhere with it together one day. And we just said, this is an issue. This is a thing that we need to address. So that's what we've been doing.
We've opened up a nice little dialogue too. I've had more people reach out to me about these last 2 episodes than in a long time, where people going, this is kind of a real thing. And it is. It is.
Yeah. So we'll put in the show notes the page. We've created a page that has all the episodes on it. So right now, if you go, there'll be 2, there'll be 3 after today, and then the final. We might even do a bonus too. Bryan just informed me today he had a bonus episode of mine. So we might have 5, but that's okay. We may do a special one. Do you know? Do you ever keep boxes like of electronics, like of printers and phones and things like that? Are you a box keeper, or is your wife?
Less of a box keeper, just more of I'm not a hoarder, but I do. Electronics so literally I'm looking around because right behind me there's a door, and I've got a cable for everything. Well, what do you need? Do you have an 1/8 inch to an RCA male to female with a USB? Yeah, I got that. I got it.
Check my.
We're going to use them ever, but when I go to throw them away, I'm like, I might need this. I might get a gig someday. I might need
You are a hoarder. What do you mean you're not a hoarder?
Of electronic components.
That's the hoarder's credo. Yes. I might need this someday.
Well,
I went down to our utility room in our basement where all things go to kind of collect dust. And I always say that the utility closet is where you never actually take anything out. You only put it in. And then when you die, your kids have to take care of it and get rid of it. And, and a lot of it's like, why did they keep this? Why would they want this? So I was charged with cleaning it up over the hot, because we had a snow day on Sunday. We couldn't get out. So, but it's amazing how many boxes you keep. Like boxes, I found a Uniden. I don't know if you remember the old Uniden cordless phones. It sat in a nest to charge. I mean, this thing has to be 25 years old, but we're keeping the box just in case. And I don't even know why you keep the box. You're going to send it back? I mean,
is the phone still in the box?
No,
it's just the box.
It's long.
Just the box. Yeah, it's always that. Yeah, well, if we have to send it back, or it is fun if you do have the component though. Now those are fun. Like I've got a couple really old iPhones, and those are fun to keep and see again. They're
it's like a nostalgia. Yeah.
Yes, but no. Now I'm seeing empty boxes like that. No, not as many. Just the components. I'm bad. See, I'm the guy. I can't open things. That's like a tick I have. Like I can't open any. I have bad fine motor skills, so I just pull boxes. So all the boxes I have, like I get in trouble because I don't keep the box.
Oh, okay.
Like, hey, this thing's not
ruined by the time you get through it.
And Steph's like, well, do you keep the box? I'm like, well, kinda. I show it to her, and it's in 9 million pieces. I'm like, if you can put this back together. She's like, well, we can't really take it back without the box. I'm like, well, then I defend myself. Oh, they'll take it back without the box. Yeah. It's funny. The Uniden.
Yeah, it's just in case. I mean, I put it on Twitter today. I didn't say anything yet, but also we've got like componentry. We just upgraded our whole stereo system and instead of having 7 different things with wires everywhere, we literally have one digital receiver, and so now we've got all these components. And my wife's like, "Oh, you don't want to throw those 6-channel CD changers out?" And I'm like, "We didn't use the thing for 5 years, and now it's gathering dust. What exactly?" You put it on eBay or Marketplace, or do you just send it to Goodwill, or do you just trash it? And so there's all these discussions, there's all this drama around the discussions. How do we get rid of it?
Somebody wants it.
Yeah. All right. So do you want to do a quick review of where we've been so far with this series? Or
Yeah. So we're doing a kind of a 2-part series, or 4-part series, I should say, 4 episodes on mental health and selling. Remember the precipice was with some stuff that I'd gone through back in November, and you and I talked about this, Bill and I did, and we said, hey, this is something for people. So we kind of teed it up first of just the awareness and just coming to terms like, yes, this is a thing, and my mental health, especially in sales, can really roller coaster, and it's a real thing. If I'm missing numbers and I feel bad about myself and all this stuff. So that kind of awareness was the first episode. And then we kind of talked about getting back to your purpose to start to handle the mental ups and downs of selling in episode 2, and just getting real clean on why we do what we do. And now we're going to get into, in the next 2 episodes, a series of ideas on how to help you, for lack of a better term, self-regulate or self-soothe, maybe. Not self-soothe with bad things, self-soothe with good things. Like, so my head's in the crapper. How do I get myself out of it? That's what the next 2 episodes will be about.
So today we're going to talk about this idea that we all have this dilemma that we face, and I mean I'm in the middle of it all the time. So this is firsthand intelligence, and that is that we all want to grow. We all want more. We want more income. We want more free time. We want more kids. We want more of everything. That's just our nature. And our companies expect more from us. If you aren't the owner of your firm, you have a VP of sales, you have a CEO, they want more. Rarely do they say, hey, we're looking for you to do less next year. We're going to take your quota down 30%. I mean, you've probably never heard those words before. Mm-hmm. So what happens is that we start to put pressure on ourselves. And unfortunately, if our goals outstretch our identity, outrun our identity, so we want to be $500,000 a year person. Let's say we're doing 150 grand a year now. We want to get to $500,000. Let's say the marketplace actually could support that. And we've got that. It's available to us. You will run into identity problems where you ask yourself, am I really the guy who makes 500 grand a year? Am I really the woman who has it in me to get to that next level? And this is not conscious stuff. It's not, sometimes it is, but most of the time it's not. If you have a coach, the coach may bring it up. But then I think what happens is then we start to beat ourselves up a little bit, and we say, well, why, Bryan can do it. Why can't I? Or Bill can do it. Why, everybody around me is doing it, and they make it look easy. Why is it so hard for me? And you start to beat yourself up. And so we think that there's a few things you can do to get out of that compare game, because that's not healthy. That to me is, social media, we play that game all day on social media. We see people with Lamborghinis and private jets and, sitting out by the pool with a what's it called? Dos Equis. Well, that's just a picture. That's, it's not real. It's not real world. And yet, it inflames us in many ways. It's like, well, how is Bryan able to sit back and enjoy beers all day and I'm working my butt off? Mm-hmm. So anyway, with that said, I think there's some things that we can look at. There's five things that we've talked about. We want to talk about a couple today, but before we do that, I want to turn it over to Bryan and get your input on things.
I agree. It's my Charlie Munger impersonation. When is enough is something I got from one of my mentors, who really helped me through, on a personal mentor, not a business mentor, strictly personal guy. And I've always been a wired for achievement guy. We talked about this, and it was part of my personal problems in my personal life. And he said, when's enough? And his voice just rings in my head now in a healthy way when I catch myself thinking about that, like, when is enough? When is enough? And then the other concept I think that's really helpful to me, we're going to get some more detailed stuff of this, is another Dan Sullivan concept of measure backwards. I believe we may have talked about that in an earlier episode.
We did.
But I'm taken back to my first job. My first salary was $28,500 in a company car coming out of college, which was a really, really good deal.
Good. Yeah.
And then I remember thinking, man, if I just made 40 grand, I'd be rich. I would be like, I could, make 45,000 for 20 years. I'd retire, like that. And now that's not, it's like, way past that. And it's like, when's enough? You know what I mean? And so at some point it's this surrender to the other thing, and I know you know this, Bill, I'm guessing you agree with this, is that nothing changes really with this stuff. You don't feel like happier sitting in a Lamborghini.
No, you don't. But it's everybody says that, but when you're not sitting in the Lamborghini, you think, oh, it's BS.
Right. But go sit in one. You can rent them. Go to Vegas. You go to Vegas and rent a Lamborghini for $500, $600 a day, and just rent one and drive around. It's like nothing. Like people look at you, but then they don't, and they don't care.
He's just 5 behind you.
Yes. And anyway, and this isn't good because it's judgy, but 8 out of 10 people are going to go, look at that a-hole in the Lamborghini. Oh, you got the Lamborghini. 8 out of 10 people you're turning off. You know what I mean? It's like, so it doesn't matter. Now, on the flip side, if you love driving fast and you're really into cars, it's like a passion for you, and you love the quality and the craftsmanship of a car like a Lamborghini, go get one.
That's a different reason.
Exactly. You will be fulfilled in a Lamborghini if that's the thing. But if it's something external to that, it's a big waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah. You hear a lot of people interviewed who have made it, or who are just at very high levels of income and net worth. And they always tend to say, well, it's not really the money. It was the money. It was the dollars. It was the creation of wealth at one point, but it's not anymore. And I really do think that's true. And so then the question is, well, what do I substitute for that? So if you've got $10 million in the bank and you never thought you'd have anything like that, and you've got this, and you're younger and you're like, I'm set. What is it that inspires you? Because a lot of times, if it's just more, it starts to cave in on itself, and then you start misbehaving or derailing. I guess that's the word that our friend Terry Sarbanoff used to use with some of the Hogan stuff. We would get derailed, but I think there's a solution to that, and that is, what is my focus? Is my focus on me and the money I make, or is my focus on bringing customers the optimum solution so that I can engage with them and improve their life? If that's my mission, I'll make more money with that obsession than I do with what's in my bank account obsession.
There's a shout out to a fellow podcaster, a guy named Joe Rogan. He's got a podcast. Pretty good podcast. And I'm not a regular listener to Joe Rogan. But John Mellencamp, who is a very famous singer from, he's a hometown hero. We live in Indiana, Bill and I do, and he's a hometown hero. He was on Joe Rogan, and I listened to the whole episode, and it is outstanding.
Really?
John talk about this kind of life concept. And one of the things he thought, he said, I had all these hit records, this big house, and all this money. And I started to think, man, is this all there is? Is this all there is? Like, because he didn't feel any different. And then it's funny, his comment was, then I realized, yeah, this is all there is. It's like, none of this crap's going to make me feel any better. It's just, you know what I mean? And I just need to be, it was really good that way.
I'm not a big Mellencamp fan. I've heard he's kind of a jerk and pain, but maybe that's because of that. You got to give people a little grace.
You should listen to the thing, because I will. But it's an interesting concept about just life and success, and just where he's gone to. And he said when he got happy is when he basically gave the middle finger to all the record producers and all, because they all hated him. They didn't like his work, and he kept turning out hits, and they still hated him. They wanted to be someone he wants. He finally said, "F you guys, I'm going to be who I want." He's been happy ever since.
That's beautiful.
He got dropped by his record label.
Yeah. How many times have you heard that, though? A record label just taking full advantage, and they don't really give you much back. I've heard, episode after episode of that. Okay, so let's get into these 5 things. I'm going to give you the 5 things, and then we're going to go back and talk about the first 2. Is that okay if we do that today? Brian, do 2, and then we'll come back next week and do 3.
Yeah. And the thing I'm going to add is not an episode. I want to add 1 to the list.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Total. I just want to add 1 thing to the list.
Well, let's do 3 today and 3 next week.
That was it. Well, I did that too. Nice and even.
So here we go. Number 1 is detaching from outcomes keeps us stable. Number 2, an obsessive focus on the customer's problems, not ours, keeps us in service. Number 3, personal agency keeps our self-efficacy high. If we really believe that we have personal agency and we can create, we can manifest. 4 is abundance keeps our stress low, because we look out and we say, oh, there's more than enough to go around. So why are we stressed? Number 5, the clarity of the sales process or any process keeps us confident. And yours is?
Number 6 is physical action in your marketplace will feed your soul. Physical action in your marketplace will feed your soul.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Let's do them.
Feeds. I had freeze, but it's also feeds. Okay. So let's go back to number 1. We're just going to do 3. Going to do detaching first. There's a lot written, and it seems like I've started to hear this concept of detachment more and more recently. And we've been talking. In fact, I got an email from somebody that and he did this whole thing on detachment. And it's like, well, we've been talking about that for 25 years. So late to the party, but good. Good on you, brother. Sorry.
Funny.
So detachment from outcomes keeps us stable, meaning we can be very intentional about doing the right thing, making the call, conducting ourselves appropriately in the sales process. Since I know a lot of our listeners are sales in sales in one degree or another, but we have to still be detached from the outcome. We can't be enslaved or entangled up whether a person does business or not. And we certainly can't get our self-worth based on whether they say yes or no.
100%. And I want to add detachment also to me weaves through the process itself, not just the outcome also.
Totally agree.
There will be times when the process isn't going great, or you thought someone was going to be in a meeting and then they no-showed, and you get all hurt and your feelings hurt because the CFO was going to be in the meeting and need all this extra prep for the CFO to get all excited, and the CFO doesn't show up.
Yeah.
You got to detach from the whole thing. Just what is, and it's the outcome, and it's just going to be that thing. If you listen to my national champion Indiana Hoosiers head coach Curt Cignetti talk about this, he is just brilliant about it. He's like, and it's how it is. There's basically 150 to 160 plays in a football game. Each one is 6 seconds. Each one has its own life and its own thing. And once it's over, the play is over. And there's another one. Now we're going to go to play 2. And we look at that as a separate entity. Think of the steps of your sales process the same way. Introductory call, discovery, that went a certain way. That's over now. Then I go to the next step and that step. So detachment process is important too.
That's good. That's good. I knew you had to bring Cignetti.
I had to.
We'll sorry. Continue to throughout this whole year, probably.
Oh, and I haven't even seen you since. I went to the game. Oh my God.
I know you did. It
was magic. Anyway.
Oh, amazing. Okay. Here's a question that I got the other day. I did a program, and a big part of the program was they have all these issues that they have to solve. And so my job as a coach or a speaker or trainer is to go in and say, well, if I solved 1 or 2 of these issues, does it have far-reaching effects? So could I solve these 5 issues by solving this one problem?
Yep.
And so detachment was one of the things that I taught and instructed, and they really liked it. But a guy, in fact, one of their top higher achievers raised his hand at the end of that section on detachment. He says, well, I love what you're saying. I really believe in it, but it's hard to do because we have goals. We have objectives that we have to reach. And I can't very well just say, well, you know what, if they buy, great. If they don't buy, great. And I acknowledge that that's a question I've had before. I've gotten that question before. You probably have too. Even though that question, and I want to talk about with you, how would you answer that question? If you were in front of a group and that came up, and it's a legit question, it's not smoke. He wasn't resisting at all. He was like, I'm really searching for this answer.
That's great.
How would you ask?
I would want to dialogue a little bit more about what the root of that question is. Is the root of the question, or is it the theory that if I do that, if I detach, then I won't reach my goal?
That's correct.
And that's the fear.
That's the root.
Detached. What if that were backwards? What if I detached, I would reach my goal?
That's exactly what I said.
Yeah, good. See that?
You're looking at it. Your premise is, you have a premise to this. Your premise is, if I do that, then I won't be able to generate more revenue. And that was exactly my point. I said, what if that's flipped? What if it's the opposite? And he says, I'm not sure I can get there. Well, okay, well, let's walk through it. And then we walk through, well, what would it mean if you detached? How would the customer feel more at ease or less at ease? Well, probably more at ease. Would they share more information or less? Probably more. And so we walked through all those things. And then he finally got to the point where, like, okay, I'm operating under the wrong premise, which was very self-aware for him to admit.
That's why he's a high performer too.
That's true. That's true.
And the other thing I'd say to that, there's a mechanical efficiency thing to this, that if I work an efficient process and get to an answer and the answer is no, I'm quicker to the next opportunity. If you're an old school, like sales is a numbers game, then our detachment philosophy feeds your numbers game. You get to the numbers quicker to get the percentage. You get more at bats in a season. And if you have a certain batting percentage, most people do, then you will close and win more. It's good across the board. And then the other thing I'd ask the person back is I would say, I would want to hear how attachment serves you. How does attaching to and not letting go, how does that help you? And then how does it help your customer?
How does it help your customer? That's exactly. How does it help your customer? And then how does that help you? If it doesn't help your customer, it's probably not helping you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. You know, I gave them a document that had 3 elements on it, which you just coined one of them. I said, detachment leads to freedom. Freedom leads to effectiveness.
Bravo.
And efficiency. So if I'm free to do what I need to do and say what I need to say at any point in the sales process, I'm going to be more effective. Even if the deal doesn't come true, it'll save me 30 hours of fretting and worrying and working on it. So I'll know early. That'll make me more effective. Good. Man, we are right there together. Okay, let's go to number 2.
Okay.
Obsessive focus on the customer's problems, not your own, keeps you in a high degree of service and a high level of service. So if we, I'm a part of a rehab program. It's got initials AA. I'll let you decide. You decide what it stands for.
Sidebar: the anonymous has kind of been dropped these days, hasn't it?
It has, yeah.
Can we go back to our roots here, gang? Come on, what are we doing? Anyway, go ahead.
No, I've told the story before, so it's not a new thing. But I've been in that for many years. But one of the things that they always talk about is if you're not feeling good, go serve somebody, go help somebody, go be of service. And I think that's kind of the wisdom here in sales is if you're feeling like, I'm just not keeping strong, I feel like a little bit like I'm, off track, go serve somebody, go help a client, go give something away. Go to the Goodwill store and give them $1,000 or $100, or just go be of service. I think when we're focused on somebody else and their pains and problems, in this case, our customers, I think we just become much better.
For sure. It's the last step, right? Number 12 there. We go into the old program, right?
Yeah.
There's a great book I've mentioned on this podcast before called the Book of Joy. It's an interview with Desmond Tutu, Bishop Desmond Tutu, and the Dalai Lama. It's just an interview of them talking. They're both joyful. Both of them, without hesitation, when they talked about that the core anchor of being joyful is serving others, even mentally in your mind, thinking of thinking about who can I help? What can I send a note to someone? Can I make a connection for someone? Right. Just the process of starting it, not even doing it yet, it starts to put you in a place of joy and get your energy right, for sure. Where this gets tricky, I think, for salespeople is you got to really check yourself if you're listening to this episode. You're like, well, my software really helps this person, or the thing that I sell, I'm really feel like, is that true? Do you really feel in your heart of hearts that you selling a bulldozer is making someone's life better? I think some people dress this up. You got to be really careful with this. So what you do instead, if you can't get there clean, you can still serve your customers without selling them your stuff. That's how I think about it also. So if I sell bulldozers to construction people, I'm like, my bulldozer is really cool. And I'm like, is it really helping humanity? I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But whoever I sell it to, those project managers, they might need connections. They might be looking to find new employees. Maybe I can introduce them there. Maybe I can host them at a fun event that's fun for them. Maybe they're big IndyCar fans and I take them to the track and feed them something good. Even though it's adjacent related, it may not be the exact thing that you sell. And I think that some people struggle with that.
And I also think that it could be even closer to, like, if I sell bulldozers, maybe I'm not passionate about bulldozers, but I'm passionate about helping project managers look good inside their company and become leaders inside their company by selling them something that's going to improve bottom lines, top lines, blah, blah. So you can make it about bulldozers, but not about what the bulldozers actually do.
Yes.
Do they even call them bulldozers anymore? I mean,
Probably earth movers. I don't even know. Is there a technical term here? There's got to be, right?
I'll check with some of my old buddies at Caterpillar.
Yeah, right. You used to sell that stuff, didn't you?
So that's number 2. So become more obsessed about your customers' problems than they are. And if you are, they will pick up on that. They'll sniff that out, and they will believe anything you say because you're totally obsessed with them rather than being obsessed with yourself. Okay, number 3, personal agency keeps your self-efficacy high. What this means is that if we believe that we're just a hostage to our manager or to the company, and we don't believe we have any personal agency, then we won't think of ourselves as very efficient. And we won't think of ourselves, not just the job we do, but also ourselves as worth. The self-worth will diminish a little bit. And this is a little bit tougher. We're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but the question is do you believe you have personal agency in your future? Do you believe you're the architect of your future, or is somebody else architecting your future for you?
This is a huge, huge hit for people that feel like they can't escape something. And where it hits hardest, it's, a little recency bias here, but when you get a rift, as they say, reduction in force or laid off or fired or whatever, it's a reminder that you don't have the level of personal agency that maybe you would like to have because you feel like you're a victim of circumstance.
Yeah.
And abundance and detachment, we're going to talk about abundance next time, but detachment, that's in all things in life. And if you work for a big old company that's owned by a big private equity firm or it's a publicly traded company, you're any point in time, the thing can go without you. And I think until you recognize that and you know that if that happened, here's what I would do, you don't have personal agency.
Yeah.
If you're pleading inside or playing like, God, I hope it's not me this time. Boy, I hope I make it through this round, because that's what people do, right? The rounds are like,
that's right.
I got too close to the sun there, and then everyone sits up straight. You still don't. Your key out of that, the escape hatch, is what Bill's talking about. So this personal agency. Like, you know what? If I work at Amazon and Amazon fires me, I have all this other good stuff to value. I'll go take somewhere else, including my experience with Amazon.
That's right.
And a lot of people can't operate there. They're just too tied to it.
Well, that's capital P, capital A, personal agency. It's not just in the job, it's in life. Do I have agency? If something happens and my company goes out or they let me go, do I feel, and how many times have you heard people say, God, I hated the job for the last 10 years. And they finally were pushing me forward, and I started this business and now I'm a multi-billionaire. If they hadn't have done that, I never would be here.
Yes.
So if you have that feeling that I feel a hostage. I feel like I'm a hostage here to my current circumstance. You've got to figure out a way to get out of that. And sometimes the way to get out of it is just to meditate, just to ruminate, talk, understand this whole concept of detachment. Because in many ways, you are attached. You're attached to the way things are now. And we all know stuff changes.
It does.
Okay, so next week we'll talk about the final 3 of our 6-part framework and help you manage the inputs a little bit. I think if you manage these inputs, the outputs take care of themselves. Don't forget, advancedsellingpodcast.com/insider. Our January 6th episode, or February 6th training is coming up soon, and we're going to talk about mindset there, which kind of fits along with this. Anyway, That's it for today. All right, bye.